You keep all options open and you have to go for a dual track strategy when you're in biotech, so that you are not being put into a position where you can only pick and choose one option. And that was also the case. Shando's kids and my kids were running the international school, Hannover region. And Shando said, "Oh, I think I know this, Mom." Oh, wow, intriguing data. They really did amazing academic science and founded the company 2016.
That's your nickname was Frau Biotech.
Yeah.
The biotech woman. Bienvenue to a new episode. I'm your host Philip, and on this show I'm interviewing the best Europeans in biotech to help you grow. There are only very few billion-dollar exits in German biotechs, including Micromed, Ganymed, and MorphoSys. And the last one is Cardior. So I went to Hannover, pretty much in the middle of Germany, to meet with Claudia Ulbrich, who is the CEO and the founder. Actually, I didn't know Claudia personally, but I've heard many great things about her through my network. One thing that is especially impressive is that she has been a biotech founder since the late 90s, and that's especially impressive as a female. We talked about Cardior's recent €1 billion biobucks exit to Novo Nordisk. We also talked about the microRNA targeting space and cardiovascular, and why she earned the funny nickname Frau Biotech, which is Mrs. Biotech in English. So here's my conversation with Claudia, and please like and follow if you're enjoying it. All right, welcome to the show, Claudia.
Yeah, welcome, Philip. Thank you that you are coming over. So nice to speaking with you.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, super nice place. I liked it. And I want to start with obviously the recent exit in Cardior to Novo Nordisk. And congrats first. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing deal. Just maybe to start, just how do you feel? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, that's really amazing. So it was a tough ride on the one hand side, but also for me and the whole Cardio team, it's a big success. So we are all very happy about this outcome, because as you know, although a biotech's journey is always dynamic, we feel that this acquisition by Novo Nordisk is a really momentum and nearly, I would say, close to best case scenario for the transformative potential of our drug, and to bring in the company straight forward.
Yeah, I'm curious what was tough about it.
Yeah, tough is you always need to have, as being a CEO, the vision to keep all options open. So and also to execute on these strategic options. And there is a lot of R&D development, which we have brought through a classical GXP compliant development path over the last couple of years. We had, in addition, several racings, Series A and B. Yeah. So overall, that is a tough run.
So you mean tough was the whole journey, more than the actual deal itself? Right.
Yeah.
On the deal, I mean, when I saw the deal, and I think, I mean, it's a €1 billion or 1.025. I made me laugh about the 0.25. But billion euro was not disclosed. How much was upfront? How much was in milestones? Obviously, when I saw the deal, it was kind of the first thing I was wondering. Okay, what's the upfront? But at least I've heard from some of your investors that they're all very happy about the deal. So I guess the amounts were, I mean, very, very good. Even the upfront was pretty very good. I'm wondering on this, I mean, I heard also was a bit more from the Novo side that's how they wanted to communicate. Like, can you, like, I don't know, not disclose it, but can you comment on this? Like, how did it go? Like, you know?
I think Novo Nordisk identified the transformative potential of our compound, our lead compound, CDR132L, and they valued also the whole technology with regards to non-coding RNAs in the cardiovascular space. Yeah. And therefore, we would say the deal volume is a very significant one with that roughly 1 billion. On the other hand, We have agreed to not disclose any kind of details of the deal. What I can say is that we have received a significant upfront payment and several milestone payments that are linked to several R&D milestones as well as commercial milestones. And overall, it's a very attractive deal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's sounds good. I mean, I think you mentioned more from a company looking at the different options. I was curious about the deal as well as, I mean, let's go into the clinical. I mean, you had phase 1b results, I think was January or early 2021. We'll talk after really in details of what these results were, but I mean, you have the phase 2 basically ongoing. So I was also curious of, okay, why not wait for, let's say, the end of the phase 2, which is probably a big inflection point as well, versus going to a deal before that. Like, I guess you had the different options on the table, or even raising another round.
Yeah.
Like, why you made that choice?
I think it's always that you keep all options open, and you have to go for a dual track strategy when you're in biotech, so that you are not being put into a position where you can only pick and choose one option. And that was also the case. So last year, we prepared also a next financing round. And we could have continued to also prepare for capital markets. We have always envisaged in cardiovascular to partner with a big pharma partner. Because, as you know, phase 3 trials are larger. They are very expensive. And at this point in time, I would say Novo Nordisk, with the acquisition, was the best option to bringing our lead compound to as many patients globally as possible, because they have large resources, not only in terms of funds. They have clinical and commercial expertise. They are strengthening their own cardiovascular footprint and their pipeline. And that was a perfect match. And they saw the potential also in bringing CDR 132L into a broader and late stage development. And you asked why we did not wait for phase 2 data. So finally, the trial has finished recruiting. So we are now in the observational period. And expect to see top-line data, first quarter next year. So it's a little bit to go there. On the other hand side, we have a very good and robust data package that shows safety, tolerability, and already some beneficial effects on cardiovascular disease and heart failure especially. So, and this was identified and seen also by Novo Nordisk. And we know the company since many years. They say they were very closely following us and felt it's now the time, because we had also the plans already for the second phase 2, which goes beyond the myocardial infarction heart failure population into a more broader chronic heart failure population. And this is a larger trial which we want to start in the US. And it was the right point in time to step in for Novo Nordisk and to impact on this trial also in terms of later potential phase 3 opportunities and bringing this drug to market.
So that's also in the press release, or when the news was announced that Novo would start another phase 2.
That's the phase 1. Okay, that's the phase 2 we already had planned for and had designed for. And now when Novo is in charge for this trial, which fully makes sense, this will be in close cooperation with the Cardior team, and they are building already on our design for the trial, and they like the population where we wanted to go for. So we will run that together.
Sounds like a very good fit on many levels already. So it's that's good. I mean, it's amazing to have so many options, because I mean, I talked with quite a few biotechs, and especially right now, for example, the financing option is definitely like less attractive or less like, I mean, especially on the public market, but even the private market is not that easy. I mean, a lot of VCs say, okay, we're still investing, but what I hear from more executives is like everyone is kind of waiting to see. So it's amazing that you had all the options. Maybe we can go into a bit specifically on the data I saw the data that you announced from the phase 1b that you presented. Can you go a bit more details on like what are these data and how big was the need in this specific indication?
Yeah, I think overall heart failure affects 65 million people worldwide. So it's a large population that has an dire need. As we all know, we have seen over the last 20 years, I would say, only symptomatic treatments. The last 15 years were clearly driven by ACE inhibitors, beta blockers, diuretics. And then we have seen some new kids on the block, like the SGLT2s, Entresto, nowadays also GLP-1 inhibitors. So I think there is some movement, but on the other side, this is all symptomatic treatment. And it does not address the root cause of the disease. And that was a reason why we were driving our development in first instance to myocardial infarction heart failure patients. And in the phase 1b, and that was a really specialty because we had been running large pig trials before. And these pig trials were also reading out on efficacy. They have shown also that the drug is safe. We have been running larger toxicity trials in 2 species. And the authorities, they have seen our pig data in terms of PD data readout. And they said they would expect that at least if we go into an affected target population with chronic heart failure, stable chronic heart failure, that was the population we have investigated in phase 1b, that could bring also patients more beneficial effects rather than affecting them. And that was the reason why we could skip a healthy volunteer study. That saved the company time and money. That was really, really critical.
That's why you went into the 1b.
Yeah, and that was the reason why we went into phase 1b. So we were not only allowed, we were also recommended to do that. And had a very stable population. We had 4 different doses in this trial. Signal and ascending dose, 5 on treatment, 2 on placebo. And what we could show was that we did not have seen any kind of liver or kidney toxicity. Platelets were all fine. Everything that you know from oligos that might affect patients could not have been identified. And moreover, it showed beneficial effects in terms of ECG parameters. What we have that is a specialty. We have the MicroRNA 132. This is not only found in tissue, it's also found in the plasma. And you have a clear correlation between plasma levels of 132 and tissue levels, so that we could clearly monitor also how our drug affects people in different dosages. And we brought these microRNA levels in the blood to normal levels in our PD active doses of this phase 1b trial. And that was the beauty.
So you had a clear biomarker as well.
It's a clear biomarker, and that built the rationale then to go into a phase 2, which clearly is the proof of the pudding. You need that. So the efficacy trial, and there we chose, in our view, the best indication where we could show in a timely manner proof of concept. Thus, it's a niche indication for sure, but we need to view that none of the current drugs which are on the market or are being investigated in clinical trials have shown any kind of difference in post-myocardial infarction heart failure patients. So also the latest trials with the gliflozins, they didn't bring really significance. And that is a niche where we felt we can make a difference. So that this product might act as a game changer. And now, for sure, for pharma, it's the larger market. It's the chronic heart failure market. And that was the reason why we said after having now finished finished on the recruitment for phase 2 in post-myocardial infarction heart failure, we will now go into the chronic heart failure market, but also in a very specific subpopulation of heart failure. Patients that have left ventricular hypertrophy. This is one of the inclusion criteria, and that is independent of ejection fraction. So, and it affects also the HFpEF population, for example, combined with left ventricular hypertrophy. This is really an dire need. So, and that was really intriguing also Novo to buy in our development path.
I like that. I mean, I like that it's a clear, smaller indication, but very targeted, where you could prove and then scale or expand. And I can imagine even for Novo, it's like there's still the phase 2 readouts early next year where they know, okay, how is efficacy, and then they can also decide on how to scale that. And so even for them, that's And makes me realize also, I mean, cardiovascular is always think about whatever one disease, but it's, I guess, whatever, hundreds or thousands of different like in oncology, I can imagine it's like, I don't know if it's as specific as like rare disease as in oncology, maybe a bit less, I don't know, like, but it's, I guess, similar with a lot of subpopulation and subgroups.
Chronic heart failure is a segmented population. And there are for several populations also additional symptomatic treatments. So it's not intended to replace everything. Also, with regard to the very unique mode of action, it fits to many of the established drugs at the moment. And if there are obese patients, they will get additional special drugs for obesity, others for diabetes, for example, and the like. So, but we feel we have a drug in hand that is able to also improve systolic as well as diastolic function, and that is something you want to see with a new transformative treatment or in a disease modifying modality. So we are able, or we have shown increased hypertrophy. We have decreased hypertrophy, being able to show. We have increased contractility, we have a reduced fibrosis, and also enhanced microcapillary density in these hearts.
So at the end of the day, I mean, from my understanding, also you are preventing new episodes from new episodes happening, your heart failures happening, but you're also say improving or reverse the progression, or like, I don't know if that's the right term. Correct me, but
I think if you look into these non-coding RNAs, as we all know, they are not coding for proteins, but they are so-called master regulators of the cellular function, and they can act down on several different paths. Streams. So, and what they act like, my colleague Thomas, he's our scientist, he's our brain inventor, and we founded the company together. So he always explains that MicroRNA 132 is like a conductor in an orchestra, And if he gets out of control, then you won't get the right music in your cell, And if you bring your conductor back on stage, then it acts down on the several messenger RNAs in the cell and can normalize that detrimental pathways and reduce the pathological enhanced microRNA 132. Levels in the cell, and that is a beauty where you have different angles where the drug can act, and thus it's more not only preventing but also halting and reversing a disease. That makes that so unique.
Yeah, I mean, I looked into, that was perfect transition to the next question, like about microRNA. I mean, from what I heard, like one specific microRNA can like impact whatever hundreds of different messenger RNA. So it's kind of a massive cascade. And if that's also, I think, why, I mean, a lot of drugs were very hard to target the microRNAs because they're just such a big impact and big whatever pathway could be impacted, leading usually, I mean, I guess to pretty high toxicity. But so how, and I also, at least from what I've seen, that you guys were basically one of the first microRNA targeting drug, at least in cardio, where it really seems to work better versus all the trials where, just what I said, that just too high toxicity. So like what's like, what specifically did you like figure out basically to make it work versus other microRNA targeting?
I think in first instance there was a different approach to identify the right microRNA. So in Thomas Labs, he did over many years structured wet lab experiments, robot-based screening of hundreds, thousands of microRNAs, and finally found that one which he brought from the cell culture dish into patients now over the course of a very contingent pharma GXP compliant process. But the difference was we are sometimes asked whether there are other groups that have also been doing research in 132. Yes, that has been done, but finally the whole IP that is around that was filed in 2012 with the first patent family by Thomas to the medical school Hannover, and Cardior has licensed that exclusively. And we have built a large protection around this asset. But what makes it unique, I think, is also the chemistry. We have been working with different chemistries until we found that specific locked nucleic acid chemistry. And that has a specific spiking pattern that stands for low toxicity. So before we brought it into animals, we have been ensuring that the chemistry is a real optimal one. And there were effective knockdown experiments. The target is 100% conserved, really from fish to worm to mice to pigs to human. That is a guarantee for the translation of the different results you get. This is not the case in every microRNA, but with 132, that was successful. Okay. And also this...
You're down-regulating it, right?
We are down-regulating it. So we are blocking this microRNA. Okay. Yeah. So you have, once the cardiac muscle gets into stress, being it a myocardial infarction, microRNA 132 levels are increased. Yeah. And what we are doing is we target the microRNA by having an antisense oligonucleotide. Yeah. That is a 16-mer oligonucleotide based on a locked nucleic acid.
So 16 base.
16 base. Yeah. With a phosphorothioate backbone. Yeah. And it's a very stable chemistry. So and this goes directly into cardiomyocytes, binds to the 132 microRNA, blocks it for 4 weeks or the like. Okay. It does not destroy the target. It's not like an siRNA which destroys the target. So there is a difference. Yeah. And this binding, which is repeated in our current trial for 3 times. In the more chronic setting, it will be repeated for 6 times. So every month, the patient will receive an injection, and that should be sufficient, which has been studied and showcased in these large pig trials. So we had 2 different animal models, one with the subacute setting and one with a chronic setting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that I'm curious, just do you know exactly? Like, I mean, you say blocking, but I guess you can also quantify or like measures the amount of
Yeah.
mRNA left.
Yeah.
You're blocking, or like you're
We are blocking
down again, or blocking.
We are reducing the target with more than 50%, 55%.
Okay.
This is then also the PD active scenario. If you use a dose that is able to reduce your target more than 55%, then you are effective.
Yeah.
And in our studies, we were also able to show a knockdown of 80 to 90%.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess you still want,
But if you want to dive into more detail, you need to ask your CSO.
Oh, good. No, I mean, I'm curious also. I mean, as from the beginning of the discussion on the microRNA, I mean, as it impacts so much, I guess there are also some other function, even MI132 that has some function in that it might be good to not knock down 100%. Just
that's true.
That was my thought. But yeah, I like that because so if I summarize really the target, but also the chemistry and how you attack how you target the target. Because I remember microRNA, Abivax was on the show, but they target with some small molecules, also target microRNAs, but with small molecules seems to work also pretty well. But I mean, they're running a phase 3 at least, but we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'm curious on the. I mean, you touched a bit on the history of the company. Maybe can you share a bit more of like, I don't know, how you met Thomas? I mean, I guess he was not far off already in Hannover. How did you met him? How did you get started? The whole like kind of founding story.
Yeah, you won't believe it. So it was really in 2016 my first advisory mandate with a biotech client in Hannover. So I'm doing now business in the life science industry more than 25 years. So I have been working as an advisor, also for top tier consultants like PricewaterhouseCoopers and others. I founded an own consultancy in 2008, helping biotech clients to spin out their companies, to raise funds, to bringing in IP and to develop the organization, sometimes by participating in these companies or doing interim management and the like. So I have been an entrepreneur since, I would say roughly,
a few years.
1998. That was the year when I founded my first biotech company. That was a cancer vaccine company. And if you look into today's business, also with Moderna, BioNTech, and others, now cancer vaccines are the hotspot. All over.
Back over.
But 20 years ago or 25 years ago, that was pioneering a field. With all the pros and cons. And I think it's a little bit the same also with these non-coding RNAs, and it has really a tremendous potential. But back to Thomas. So I had never a client in Hannover, although I live in Hannover since 2000.
And you studied in Hannover, right?
No, I studied at the university in Lübeck, in the northern Germany, and I had a second study in Rheingau, where I was at the European Business School. So did health economics. I did my promotion, my thesis in Hannover. Founded my first company in Hannover. That was the reason why I moved to Hannover. I met Thomas after I had spun out the company together with other founders in Heidelberg. There was also a cardiovascular company. They were doing gene therapy also for cardiovascular diseases, heart failure. Was very, very intriguing story, and I was advisor to them. Finally, we sold the company after its inception, half a year later, to Unicure. And Unicure as the gene therapy pope, so to say, also pioneers in the field. I was working then for Unicure.
We had Sander on the show. So
yeah.
yes. I don't know if you worked that. He was still there at the same period as you were. Sander van de Venter.
Yeah, Sander van de Venter. And I worked together with Jörn and with Hans. And we sold 1 year later the whole gene therapy and additional 9 targets in gene therapy and cardiovascular to BMS.
Yeah, okay.
That was 2015, and that was the time Thomas was alerted, and he found my name in the press. And we have another co-founder, Shandor Batkai. So, and they were doing research together at medical school. And Shandor's kids and my kids were running the international school, Hannover region. And Shandor said, "Oh, I think I know this mom. And I can ask her." And then they shooted an email whether I would be able and willing to look at their data. So, and that was the story back in 2015. And I looked at the data saying, "Oh, let's see, I don't think that your target is such way better than what I sold a couple of weeks before, but curious to take a look." And then I felt, oh, wow, intriguing data. They really did amazing academic science. They had good data. And I felt we should develop a business plan together and build that upon a really thorough development plan. So scientists, they are not really familiar with R&D in the pharma industry, but we did that together also with 1 or 2 other people from my consultancy. And started through and founded the company 2016 and raised then funds in a Series A 2017. This round was led by, in these days, LSP, nowadays Equity, and we raised 50 million to bring the compounds through the preclinical stages, through the large animal models, toxicology studies, and the completion of the phase 1B. That was all the Series A round. And we started with 5 people, 2 academics, 3, including myself from the business side. I started as advisor and then part-time CEO. And since the B round in 2021, I was responsible for the whole business as being a full-time CEO for Cardior. I had an active consultancy business, so I had other clients. But that was how we met. And Thomas said, "Oh, I'm intrigued always by science, but I need somebody who is familiar with the business and how to build a company." And I think this is a very interdisciplinary approach and also some factor of success. So as we all know, you need good science, you need good patents, good people, you need strong execution, and always a little luck.
I like the I mean, the more even the guest on the show, there's always a luck component, which is, I mean, it's just there. It's very hard to measure, but I find it very also. And there's some fun in the luck element, and it's also humbling that there's something that you cannot control, like even in any entrepreneurial journey. It's amazing story. I mean, so basically almost 10 years basically. 15 to almost like
the first point of contact is right things about 9 years ago.
It's an amazing story. I love this story. And about Hannover, I mean actually
it's not the biotech hub itself.
Like actually somehow I was like, I don't know really why. I think one of the VP business there, I think he's based in Munich, correct?
Peter. Our VP BD&L.
And because I kind of saw the deals through him, and I was like, then I was like, I don't know why, I assumed you were Munich based. And someone like, no, I think Cardior is one of the only biotech in Hannover. Just funny. And so how I mean, like, how was it to build here? I mean, like Like, yeah, how was it? I mean, you always hear, okay, it's important to be in the ecosystem, whatever. Like, when Europe, they're smaller than in Boston or whatever in the US, but it's kind of important to be in the ecosystem, have things around if you are more kind of the only one.
Yeah.
But if you how like, maybe whatever, how was it? Like, how?
Yeah, I think it was straightforward because the roots, not only of the disease, but also the roots of the company are clearly in Lower Saxony. So it was a spin-out from medical school Hannover.
Yeah.
And Thomas is leading an institute there with 50 people working in translational strategic therapies. He has done several years of this RNA research. So, in first instance, we got some support by a local incubator. We closed a framework agreement with MHH, having rent and lease agreements in the first 2 to 3 years. We built the company from really 5 people to more than 20, and and as you can see, we have attracted international venture capital, and we had right from the start also pharma participation with Bristol Myers.
Okay.
Also the second round of raise was done during the COVID time. Yeah. Not many companies got venture funds in that amount. So it was 64 million euros. So overall, the company raised 80 in these days. And it's not a biotech hub like Munich or like the Rhine area or Mainz with BioNTech, for example. Yeah. But overall, you can do it everywhere. So sometimes it was a bit challenging to grow the company with the right people. Because if you build more capabilities in terms of business, finance, business development, clinical operations, quality assurance, all what you need to bring your compounds into phase 2. But overall, we have been growing now to 32 people, and we have people that are coming over every second week in our project weeks, from Frankfurt, from Mainz, from Munich, from Freiburg, Berlin. This is not the reason. So if you have a good company, if you have a good culture, and people like to working towards a common goal, then they are also willing to commute. Yeah. And in our world after COVID, it's also a hybrid world, and we have to find also new models how to work. Yeah.
And I guess also, I mean, it helps also in Germany that it's I think at least, I mean, I'm half German, half French, living in Berlin, but because Berlin, Hannover is like 1.5 hour. And Hannover is pretty central in Germany, so I guess you can get there from pretty much anywhere in Germany in 3-4 hours.
Deutsche Bahn is not on strike. And Lufthansa is not on strike.
That's the harder, but I guess for flying it's maybe a bit harder from airport wise, but
because you have to go in transit.
But still, I mean, and I think also maybe also from the business case, as you said, you grew as a team, but you didn't need like to grow a team to hundreds of people, where I guess that it becomes a bit more challenging. But if it's a relatively small team, I like that. Actually, I made me think, what you say makes me think about our first guest was Antoine Papianic from Sophie Nova, and we talked a bit about location, and he said like, I don't care where the company is, something like if it's in Dijon or in Saragosse or something, it needs to be set up as a global biotech company and on a whatever Boston standard. And I think.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you would then like to go for the US, for preparing capital markets or the like, you can always open a subsidiary. This is not rocket science.
I like that, but I think also from seeing how you how the setup, how the office, it feels like very like top level biotech.
Yeah.
If you are in Hannover or not, you can do it. So it takes a bit more effort maybe or something, but I think it's one of the key. And you can compensate and whatever, but I think at the end, you proved it that it works. I like that. And I like also on the VC, I mean, I saw, and you mentioned LSP or equity, I mean, basically, I think top 3 VCs in Europe. I mean, they're always fighting with Sofinovo and having worse, but I mean, let's be polite, it's top 3. And then I saw that you even have, at least in the Series B, was Biomed with Marcus. So and we talked a bit about you as well.
But Marcus was also in Series A.
Also in the Series A.
Okay. That's right from the start.
Okay. And then Sunstone
joined in B. Incaf and FunPlus joined in B. Coperion joined in B. Yeah.
That was a large one. It's amazing that you had really full European
the rest was Hadean. Yeah, there were 5 new.
But you had really from all over Europe. I mean, and I guess then you would do your board meeting here.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that is true. That's the boardroom, and we like it, and you can run it in a hybrid setting, and we have very good technical equipment, and also flights. Although Hannover is not the hub. If, for example, you go from Copenhagen to Hannover, you have an SAS flight.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's not. It's not 3 times per day, but you have 1 direct flight per day, so it's an hour, and that also makes our collaboration, where we started with the transaction, in the future very smooth. So it's not far away. And, same time zone.
Yeah.
Supports in any case. Conversations and integrations.
Yeah, nice. Maybe if we zoom out a bit on we had some zoom out already, but zoom out one on the BD side. I'm curious. I saw that Centerview was one of your advisors on the deal, and I'm amazed. At least in the past few years, especially let's say in 2023, I think they've advised for 80+% of the 1 billion plus deals globally in biopharma, which is crazy. And I'm just curious on how was it to work with them? Why did you pick them? If you can share.
Yeah, I think it's a bit difficult to answer, because once it comes to such kind of evaluation of transaction, which we have been faced at the end of last year, it's shareholder matter. And as you know, we have 10 investors in the company, and they have also their networks and their relationships, and there came in a recommendation, because typically we had always envisaged such kind of pharma partnership, but it was not that. We were running a classical process, which we would, for example, have been setting up after phase 2 data, for example, in
the whole bidding process.
Yeah, this is a different story. But sometimes if you have as many investors and you have also management sellers, for example, it's somehow valuable to have a neutral body in the game that on the one hand side has the experience and the network, does the valuations, for example, and advises on the deal. So from a BD perspective, I would say there was no big need, because we have the expertise in-house.
And as you said, you already were in contact with Novo.
Yeah, we were already in contact with Novo, so that was established. But finally, the devil is always in the details. Yeah, and I think it was helpful and valuable to have a neutral body into the game.
Just what makes me curious also is that they are, from their position, they basically see every deal on both sides. So I guess you can rapidly have some conflict of interest / some, let's say conflicts, but I guess, that's, from what you said, sounds...
Yeah, this is something you would need to ask Centerview. So I cannot comment on.
I will ask them. But it's good. I mean, also that they, I mean, they have a reputation if they've done all the deals. So even as you as a whatever Hannover-based biotech and you work with them, it's also, I think, probably a good sign also for all the potential acquirers. I mean, makes total sense. Maybe, on the one thing we talked before starting the interview, but I heard that, and you've been in the industry and you are, I think, one of the few like top level or like C-level women in this space, especially early on. Heard that your nickname was Frau Biotech, the biotech woman. Sound pretty funny. How, like, first, where did this nickname came from, or who, like, if you can share the story about it, and more like what was your experience like from like whatever 20, 30 years ago?
I think it was quite unusual that a biotech company is not only founded but also run by a female leader. That was only in single cases. So most of this world 25 years ago was a man's world, and is still a man's world, but we will be more. There will be more of us. And I think that has improved also in the biotech area, not only in terms of being a leader in a biotech company, but also in venture. There are more female in doing venture business, being partner in a venture company and the like. So I think that will still take a while until this is equal, being recognized. But I really didn't care about it, to be honest. So I was confident in my skills, and I wanted to do that. I have an entrepreneurial mindset and spirit. I've done it now for several times. Spinning out companies or founding or co-founding companies, and I think it's specific to have female in a leadership position, but it's more from a diversity perspective. It's not that you need to be, or you need to have a female or male CEO. So you should always go for what is best for the company and what is best for the team. There you should see that there is a balance. But what I would give at hand to every founder or co-founder who wants to build a company, who wants to start off, be curious, courageous, build in your confidence, and also face that you will make mistakes. So and in any case you learn by failure, and that makes you more resilient. But on the other hand, you need for sure tenacity and the like. I never had the feeling to not dare to do that. So why not? So, and my education was pretty clear, straightforward. My parents always trusted on my skills and capabilities. You can do what you want to do, but if you do it right, and consequent. So, and there also needs to be some fun, but I wouldn't say there is something specific. You need to grow together with your team, with your leadership team, and hopefully have interdisciplinary skills, not only in terms of finance or BD or science or whatever. But I liked always that overall architecture on managing, orchestrating, strategic thinking. And that is what I'm doing now for more than 25 years. And I like it. I like what you. I mean, you have to like what you're doing. I mean, I think for anyone, but also in running a company.
a bit of experience, but it's so difficult. It's so tough that if you don't enjoy it, one of the parts at least, it's just very hard also to go through. So, and I think any kind of job, it's much better if you really enjoy it and have some fun in it. But I really like what you said at the beginning as well. As okay, I just ignored it or whatever, that it was on the only male world, and I was just going for what I wanted to do and what attracted me, and kind of ignored. And at the end, it worked also. It worked. I think that I heard that from, so we had Agnete Fredriksen from Lykode, also cancer vaccines, and we talked quite a lot about that. And she said something basically similar, as in, I was founding the science in the lab, and then I had this technology, and I really wanted to build a company, so I just went for it. And she mentioned some challenges for sure, but also accepting some of the challenges and just whatever, going through. And
yeah, but I didn't answer your question on Miss Biotech.
Yeah.
When I founded my first company, LipoNova, that was that cancer vaccine company. That was in 1998. So over the course of the early century, 2000 millennium, I was really, I would say, an exception. Yeah. So some people they always recognize me sitting on a panel or presenting the company, or and sometimes they forgot my last name, and then they said, "Oh, this is Miss LipoNova or Miss Biotech," or so. I always had that name, and I think in first instance they said it in my back, so I didn't hear it. But once it came to a very funny contact at one of the conferences, somebody said, "Hello, Miss Biotech." I said, "Are you kidding me?" But
it sounds like you didn't take it too personally either.
Yeah. And no, but all fine. Yeah, all fine.
It's funny in hindsight. And actually, you're the first. You're the first woman on the show from Germany, and even in Germany, this is biotech founder Sam. She's definitely also in the top level, but otherwise, really in CEO position or even managing director it's not that easy. Even for me, even to find guests, it's not that easy. I have to say. But it's great. It's great we managed to talk. Maybe if you have some last thoughts or last lessons you want to share, or something just as a wrapping up.
Yeah, I think that was up to now an amazing story and journey with Cardior, and I think it will continue. So, and we will try to bring this program to success now together with Novo. Yeah, and I'm really keen to join the story a little longer and to see that the transition is being done very professionally, and the next trial is on the fly, so that finally our drug hopefully reaches as many as possible patients globally.
Yeah. Great. And great story. Great conversation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your time and this great interview. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the end. I'm impressed by what Claudia has built with Cardior, how she executed with so many options, clarity, and how Frau Biotech was open. If you've also enjoyed this episode, please hit the follow, review button. Any of these actions would help us a lot. And also, I would be curious to hear what you think. So if you could leave a comment, whatever platform you are, or message me at Philip@Flot.bio. All right, see you in the next episode.